Hi viewers, welcome to another episode with the Decipher. Like I always do. Mucho gracias, gracias muchos, muchos, muchos. Thank you for the guys who subscribe every day. Thank you, I do appreciate you. I see all of you. I get notification every time. Thank you, mucho gracias. Let's get straight to it. So I'm gonna talk today about the old SpaceX thing. You know what I'm talking about, because yesterday I took some time to actually look into it. How all these company, how they get all their evaluation, how they get evaluated, and a lot of things is not adding up at all. It is not. No, I'm not here to promote SpaceX. I'm not getting paid by Elon at all. Elon doesn't like black people, according to what we find. So I don't care. But couple of weeks ago, Anthropic, the evaluation of the company was, I think, was about 350 billion. So as out of today now, they're projecting that it's gonna be over $1 billion. The projection when Anthropic goes into. Then you start looking deep down. You know me, I say go back to the foundation, like I always say. When you go back to the foundation, you will have a better understanding what a lot of things. Because when you break it down to figure out exactly how they do it, then you figure out that it's a glorified pyramid scam. It is a pyramid scam. Boom. But don't take my word for it. So I went to people who are much more smarter than I am. You understand? I'm not very smart at all. I'm dumb like a mother sucker. Okay? But I like to listen to people who are much more smarter than me. And I compile some videos of people that I listen. You pay attention. Then you gotta see, putting the patterns together. It's like, I don't know. But I'm gonna show you. DJ, drop the track. So I found this lady. I've seen a video one time before, and I think not only that she spoke the truth. Oh, she said a lot of fat and oil. She didn't just burn the house down. She said a lot of things that's very smart. I want you to listen to our breakdown on how SpaceX is gonna do things. Listen, I don't want to put words in her mouth. Let her say it by herself.
Elon bought Twitter for $44 billion. He then promptly lost half of its value for his investors. So he has to figure out, how do I make these investors happy so they will keep giving me money for other projects? Okay, so he plays the shell game. He merges Twitter with his AI company so that those investors now have stock in the unprofitable AI company. Okay. He then has SpaceX buy the AI company, but not for any cash, for stock in SpaceX. So now his Twitter investors have stock in SpaceX. Now he takes SpaceX public and he changes a bunch of rules so that these people can sell out early. I'll explain it to you. No cash ever changes hands, but now all of these Twitter investors have stock in SpaceX. And he's about to do this massive IPO, the biggest in history, where he is valuing SpaceX at $1.75 trillion so that he can let these Twitter investors sell out and recover their money through the SpaceX IPO. So then you have to look at the valuation of SpaceX. Like, where did they come up with this absurd valuation of $1.75 trillion? That literally makes it the 6th biggest company in the world. It's a bigger valuation than Berkshire Hathaway.
Oh, wow.
It literally is right up there with Amazon. Now, they do have revenue through Starlink, but they don't have enough revenue to justify this valuation. They literally have this valuation at 56 times revenue. Tesla, which is arguably overvalued, is 12 times. They're valuing SpaceX at 109 times EBITDA. Amazon is valued at 18 times EBITDA. If that puts in perspective how bananas this valuation is. So what's the justification?
There's a lot of buzz in the market, really trying to hype up this SpaceX IPO.
Wait. Let me pause it down. She was cooking a little bit. And that's one of the things that I went on looking back. It's like, how did it get that evaluation really? Because I'm not very good when it comes to accounting and banking. And for me, like I've always said many times, bottom line, it's a situation of leverage at all time. All this evaluation and everything, it's leverage. So for you to go and invest your money into it. So I'm not here to promote anybody, but just be extremely very careful. Yeah, because when you look down on some of the things that they saying they're gonna make this, they're gonna make that, they want to go and build a station in space. Hold on, I don't think you heard me right. They want to build a station in the space so that they can put a server in the space.
Emotional, damn
Oh
it.
boy, you can't make this shit up, man. I swear to God. They want to go and build a station in the space because we don't have enough space on the ground anymore. So we need to go and put it in the space. Then the last one is that part of the things he said he wanted to do. He said he wanted to take us to Mars in the next 20 years. So I know many of us we're tired of this world already. We're looking for a reason to live. I think it's not a bad idea, but just imagine you invest all this money here and you're not even alive by the time they go to space. But the immediate problem that we're having in this world, with all the knowledge and all the technology that we have today, we're literally being held hostage by Iran, America, and Israel. The entire world is held hostage by three different set of interests. That one is not important. No, they want to go and build a space station in the moon, in the Mars. That's more important. Then there is no food in the world. Some places lack of electricity. No, you don't want to go and build you a station in moon because then it can harness the energy of the space. Yeah. Have you seen the situation that said they went to the moon recently? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I know there's a lot of intelligent core people. Oh yeah, we went to the space. No, yeah. This is such a great thing, humanity.
Shit. What? A bullshit? A bullshit?
That always some serious bullshit. If you think they went to space, if you literally think this time, if you literally think they went to space this time around, I bet you I have a bridge I want to sell you. Subscribe, comment. I'll send you the link to the bridge. I'll give you for free. If you think they went to the space, this what is the most recent one they went to recently? If you think they actually went to space, I have a bridge I want to send you. But click the subscribe button. I'll send you the link. I'll give you for free. So these are some of the things that they've combined in all these IPOs. I don't even want to call it a glorified expectation, and based on what is going to happen far, far away. But our immediate problem in the world today, with all the big brain they have, I was looking at the chip makers. They were talking about making chips and creating computers that will cost over $5,000. I'm like, these people are really out of touch. Is not even what I'm going to call it. They're not out of touch. They're out of existence. The CEO was speaking a lot of things. Oh yeah, the chip. This is the better chip. AI cannot do shit. AI is just a glorified text. That is what AI is. AI is just a glorified text. That is what AI is. AI ain't doing shit for you. AI is doing nothing. It's just a glorified text. But unfortunately, a lot of people been sold this Kool-Aid that AI is not going to put food on your table. AI is not going to put food on your table. AI is yet to cure any kind of disease, any kind of cancer that we know of, that they can give AI the credit. No, because the most important thing is these are just grifters. They're going to grift you. So go and invest. Bitcoin, as you can see, go and check if you think I'm lying. As out of today, what's today? Today is 5th of June here in Australia. Maybe you're still back there on the 4th of June. Today, 5th of June. Go and check it. Bitcoin. You know what somebody said? Somebody said that they're extracting all this money to want to go and invest into, allegedly, they're extracting all the money from Bitcoin so they can go and buy stock with the SpaceX. I wish you all the best. But let me hear someone give you another reason why you should or you shouldn't buy.
and I get it. Seeking a $1.75 trillion valuation would rank them as the largest ever IPO. I had this comment a few days ago and saw a few other videos on this, so wanted to give my take. Now I know for a fact that a lot of those people that are hyped up about SpaceX haven't read this document here, and if you're not sure what this document is, it's a prospectus, and any company planning to IPO has to issue one of these. It basically gives transparency to the wider market to go over a company's financial statements, their IPO plans, and what the company's actually trying to do. What you have to keep in mind is that we've only seen the preliminary prospectus from SpaceX, meaning that it could be changed. Another thing that you have to keep in mind is that a prospectus does not promise anything in terms of its projections and does not guarantee anything in terms of the performance of a company. Anyway, let's get into some of the main details within that prospectus so you know what you're getting yourself into if you're planning on buying into the company, and even if you hold ETFs, because the valuation alone would most likely result in SpaceX joining your ETF. So I'll start off with the not so great things that would make me personally question whether to buy into SpaceX on IPO day, and I'll probably make a part 2 going over the positives. For the last year alone, the company made $18.6 billion of revenue, but made a net loss of $4.9 billion, putting it at a multiple of 94 times sales, meaning that you should only really buy if you're expecting continued compound growth, a drastic cut to costs as they're burning through cash at the moment, and the AI part of the business to live up to expectations. Speaking about parts of the business, let's look at the total addressable market, or the TAM, that they believe to have identified. If we just look at that total figure, and I'll probably put it somewhere on the screen, $28.5 trillion is more than the US federal budget, UK, Germany and Japan's GDP combined, and the entire global space economy today.
I just want to pause it for a second though. What the freaking hell did they expect to get all this money from? People can't afford to put food on the table. Literally. I swear to God, this shit is funny as hell, man.
You can already begin to see how ludicrous these numbers sound, and the fact that it assumes that not only these new industries will emerge for SpaceX, but they dominate all of those industries. And then it comes down what they're seemingly trying to pivot to, and surprise, surprise, it's AI. What they're essentially saying in this prospectus is that even though space is where this whole thing started and what their mission statement revolves around, I mean, they're called SpaceX, the actual part of the business that you want to pay attention to is that AI part. And that just means that they're already competing with the likes of Anthropic, Google, and OpenAI, who are already spending such large amounts. And you know what that means, going back to what we mentioned earlier? Yeah, cough up.
Because the bottom line is that all of this is that it's not like they have any money sitting down. They have to go and borrow money. Oh, you, I said it's you that will have to go and borrow money to buy these shares. You donkey, you will go and get into a lifetime debt to go and buy those shares. All right, because that's what's going to happen. You want some profit. Okay, see, anything that has to do with credit and interest, good luck.
SpaceX. I've literally only just touched on a few points, and for me it sounds like a lot is being promised here, and you're basically paying for Elon Musk and the potential for SpaceX to dominate from day one on all fronts. But yeah, let me not drag this video out any longer than I already have. I'll be posting a part 2 going through the things I do like about SpaceX and giving my final verdict on whether to buy or not. Like the video and send it to someone who's considering buying into the SpaceX IPO.
So this video I'm about to show right now is the one that made me say pause for a second. This video is gonna break it down a little bit more. It's gonna let you know why I am saying pause. Take a pause, take a chill pill. If you really want to go hit your head on the wall, take a serious chill pill. But listen to this lady. Let her break it down for you.
Company that lost $4.94 billion last year is about to ask the public to value it at $1.8 trillion. SpaceX, which has never turned a profit as a combined entity, filed for what would be the largest initial public offering in the history of financial markets. And within 9 days, a Danish pension fund looked at the numbers, looked at the governance structure, and basically just said no. Not just no to the IPO, no to the stock entirely. Academica Pension, which manages 20 $25 billion for Danish academics, has placed SpaceX on its investment blacklist, barring every single one of its fund managers from purchasing a single share at any price near the target valuation. The chief investment officer called it grossly overvalued and said it suffers from a catastrophic governance structure. And this is not some fringe activist fund, by the way. This is the same institution that dumped $100 million in U.S. treasuries back in January, calling American government finances unsustainable. Over the past 5 months, one institution, has walked away from U.S. government debt, sold its shares in Tesla, and now blacklisted the biggest IPO in history. And it is doing it for the same reason every single time. The American financial system is becoming structurally dangerous for anyone outside.
So for those who are just watching, for those who do not know, okay, there is a lot of misinformation in terms of people don't understand. I've discussed this on this live stream before. Go and check some of the videos that I talked about. America is not in $30-something trillion in debt. I'm sorry. Publicly, that's what everybody talks about. Yes, America is in debt, but the debt is in our currency. No. If you know how debt works, debt has interest. Okay? And when you compound the interest behind those debt, for a lot of Americans, they didn't know this. All right? A lot of you don't know this at all. America is not just in $30-something trillion in debt. Let me show you the real debt that America is in. Give me a second. This is the real debt that America is in, ladies and gentlemen. Let me show you the real debt. For those who do not know. Some Americans know. You see, it's getting closer to $40 trillion. I've told you, you gotta understand. This is the debt that everybody talks. Oh, America is in $39 trillion in debt. Bullshit.
What? A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
You see that? They tell you that America is in $39 trillion in debt. No, that is not correct. In fact, that is so incorrect, it's extremely laughable. Let me show you the real debt that America is in. You want to see the real debt? This is the total debt. The total debt America is in is $108 trillion in debt, not $39 trillion in debt. Because you can't just say you just pay off debt. What about the interest? This is the real debt America is in. I hope you see it. This is the real debt. See? This is the real debt. Unfunded debt with interest. This is how much money America owes. Then now ask yourself, do you think the system is functioning? Do you think it's working? Do you? I don't think it's I'm just showing you. I'm just giving you the data. I didn't make this up. So I didn't design by AI. You can go and check it. You can search it online. You can find it. This is the real debt. This one that they show every time, this is not the real debt. This is just to let the citizen know that, oh, we're looking into our debt. Bullshit. This is the real debt. Right here. Because you have compound interest into it. And start asking yourself, how long do you think it's going to take them to pay $40 trillion in debt? Because look at it. This thing runs faster than Usain Bolt. Look at that. Every single second. As we're speaking, every single second, there's about hundreds of thousands of dollars going to that debt. Every single second. So, yes, go and buy the IPO. Good luck. Let's get back to the thing, Jari. If you go and look, listen, sometimes you have to take some risks. Absolutely. I don't disagree. You got to take risks, but I'm not surprised that some countries will say, hell no, we ain't buying this no IPO thing. Because guess what? When you buy it, you're going to buy it with American currency. So now, if a country is already in $108 trillion in debt, you know that there's only one thing. It's like a straw holding the economy. Once that straw breaks, that evaluation of some trillion dollars, your money that you spend is shit. It doesn't worth nothing no more. And I tell you, it's on a string. American economy is like this. It's a yo-yo.
Before I go any further, this video is not financial advice. I am not telling anyone to buy or not buy anything. What I'm doing is documenting what European institutional investors are doing with their money and why, because the reasons connect directly to every story this channel has covered about the decoupling between Europe and the United States. If you've been following this channel's playlist on European decoupling, you already know the pattern across defense, payments, cloud, and software. This is the financial chapter. So here is what SpaceX is actually asking investors to buy. The S1 filing, the document a company files before going public, revealed that SpaceX generated $18.7 billion in revenue in 2025. That sounds impressive until you see the loss, $4.94 billion. The year before, SpaceX made $791 million in profit. So what changed? Well, in February 2026, Musk merged his artificial intelligence company xAI, which owns the Grok chatbot and the social media platform X, into SpaceX. That merger imported $6.4 billion in AI losses onto SpaceX's books in a single year, and the bleeding is accelerating. In the first quarter of 2026 alone, SpaceX lost $4.28 billion, nearly matching the entire previous year's loss in just 3 months. The accumulated deficit now sits at $41.3 billion. So the only profitable segment is actually Starlink, the satellite internet service, which brought in $11.4 billion in revenue and $4.4 billion in operating profit. Everything else, the AI, the social media platform, the orbital data center plans, is burning cash at a rate that would bankrupt most companies on this planet. And here's the governance structure those investors would potentially be buying into. Elon Musk holds roughly 85% of voting power through a dual class share structure where his Class B shares carry 10 votes each, compared to 1 vote for the Class A shares being sold to the public. He simultaneously serves as Chief Executive Officer, Chief Technology Officer, and Chairman of the board. He cannot be removed as CEO without his own consent. SpaceX has claimed controlled company status, which exempts it from the stock exchange rule requiring a majority of independent directors. It has reincorporated in Texas, which requires shareholders to hold up to 3% of outstanding stock just to bring certain legal actions. And it uses mandatory arbitration for shareholder claims, which means if something goes wrong, investors cannot sue in court. They cannot even join a class action. They go to private arbitration on Musk's terms. Academica Pension's chief investment officer, Anna Schelde, said investors are being asked to accept an unprecedentedly low risk premium for a highly uncertain company whose pricing appears to be driven more by narrative than by economic reality.
I just want to put it for a second. This is what I said the other day. I'm like, all the system that we have in this world today, the system is designed exactly how it is. So, like I said, this is my live stream today. It's not about discouraging you from getting into the IPO. I'm not telling you to buy. I'm not telling you not to buy. But one thing that I just know is that if it quacks like a duck and it sounds like a duck, don't come here and say that, you were not informed. I'm giving you all the data now for you to think carefully before you go and dump all your life savings on this. Because this shit is crazy. Look, I said this a couple of days before. And you see, everything in this life has a foundation. Okay? The foundation of this IPO going, mainstream or access to the public, you got to start thinking, okay, what is the core objective why SpaceX is going public? Because they need more money. To do what? Now we're asking a different question. So let's say SpaceX is now worth $1.7 trillion. And their investment is for them to spend a lot of money, extract a lot of resources from this source so they can go into space. I want you to think about it for a second. So how many people realistically do you think, what product, okay, how many people do you think will be able to afford to go into space and travel to Mars? I just want you to think. It seems like a glorified company that wants to build a space bus so you can go planet to planet. And how many people can afford to go planet to planet? You that you can't pay your kids' school fees. You're the one thinking about going to another planet. But you go and borrow money to buy those stocks that is not going to appreciate in the next 20 or 30 years. I'm just saying, I'm not a financial expert, but this shit doesn't make any sense. Anthropic is the same company too, because when I look down in how they do it, it kind of really makes a lot of sense why they've been yapping about AI. They're yapping about AI. I said it makes a lot of sense now. They use a fear-mongering tactics to make people feel like, oh shit, AI is gonna do this, and they've created a whole lot of chaos in the world now. So now this one, $1.8 trillion in. Let me just be quiet. Go and buy it if you like. Not your problem.
The fund calculated that SpaceX cannot reasonably be worth more than $1 trillion, which is roughly half of what the IPO is targeting. At $1.8 trillion, the stock would trade at 96 times its 2025 revenue for a company that is losing money. If you're trying to understand how to read the difference between a growth story and a governance trap, my book, Awake the Practice of Critical Thinking in an Age of Self-Lies, is available as an ebook and audiobook. Subscribers get 10% off, and you can grab the first chapter for free in the description links below. Now, here's what makes this bigger than one pension fund and one IPO. Academica Pension is not acting in isolation. Back in May, the heads of CalPERS, which is the New York City Retirement Systems, and the New York State Commons Retirement Fund, which are American pension funds that collectively manage more than $1 trillion, sent a joint letter to Musk calling SpaceX's governance extreme and describing it as the most management-favorable governance structure ever brought to U.S. public markets at this scale. When American pension funds managing the retirement savings of teachers, firefighters, and civil servants are publicly warning that a company listing on American exchanges is structured to be uninvestable, that is not a disagreement about valuation. That is an institutional red flag about the integrity of the market itself. And this is where the European decoupling story connects. Academica Pension has now made 3 separate moves away from the U.S. financial system in 5 months. In January, it exited U.S. Treasuries entirely, with Shelter saying the U.S. government is not a good credit. That same month, a Swedish pension fund, Electa, disclosed it had sold between $7.7 and $8.8 billion in U.S. government bonds since early 2025. Then Academica Pension sold its Tesla shares, citing Musk's destruction of the brand, and now it has blacklisted what is supposed to be the most exciting IPO of the decade. Each move individually is arguably small, but together they describe a trajectory. European institutional capital is systematically reducing its exposure to the United States, not because of one event, but because of the governance, the fiscal policy, the political instability, and the concentration of unchecked power have made the risk profile just unacceptable.
I just want to pause it again for a second. I think, man, this is some serious also. Like I showed you before, America is not in $39 trillion in debt, because by the end of this year, it's going to be about probably $109 or $110 trillion in debt. And you see why everybody's jumping ship now. People are jumping ship left and right, man. Dump this US stock, man. I don't want this shit no more. They're dumping it now because people are finally smart. Look, put it this way. It's just a don't overcomplicate your brain. Don't. Simple question. How can you be in $108 trillion in debt and you say that you're making profit? Does that even make any sense? How can you be in debt and you say you're making profit? Where is the profit? And it's not just that Denmark that is doing it. A lot of all the European countries are doing it now. I've told you the other day, there's one particular country that you don't want them to dump. Once they dump it, it's not going to only just affect America. It's the entire world. If Japan drops their debt, that's it. We're going to go into some serious recession that might last about 5 or 6 years. Why? Because a lot of all these countries, their debt is backed by American currency. You see? So it's not just going to affect one place, the entire world. The real debt in the entire world. Then ask yourself another glorified question that is so beautiful. So, who is going to collect this $110 trillion debt? Who is going to collect it? Thinking is not illegal, like I always say. Thinking is not illegal. When you hold $108 trillion in debt, and when somebody wants to come and collect it, who is collecting the debt? Then now we're thinking a little bit different now. So this is why I know, hey, this is high. Let me be quiet.
So here's where I think all of this goes. SpaceX will price its IPO in the second week of June, and it will probably be over-subsidized because 30% of the offering is allocated to retail investors, and the Musk brand still carries enormous weight with individual buyers. But the institutional ownership base will probably be thinner and more geographically concentrated in the US than any comparable IPO in the last 20 years. I think at least 2 more European pension funds or sovereign wealth funds will publicly decline to participate before pricing, and the governance objections will probably become a permanent feature of how European institutions evaluate US listed equities going forward. Probably within 12 months, the European Securities and Markets Authority will publish guidance specifically addressing dual class share structures and controlled company exemptions in the context of cross-border investment sustainability. And the SpaceX IPO will be remembered not as the moment American capital markets proved their dominance, but more likely as the moment European capital started building a formal framework for deciding which parts of the American system it is still willing to trust with its money and which part it is not.
That is why what China and Russia is trying to do, that a lot of Americans, China is shit, China is fake, fucking critical think. I don't understand why people cannot think. Have you ever heard that you don't put all your money in one basket, especially in this modern time? China. Let's assume China is making fake product. They're still making something. What are you making? The entire world, this entire world, almost 50% of all items that we use, this mic, everything here is made in China. But imagine we live in a world whereby American can hold a particular portion, Russia hold a particular portion, Africa hold a particular portion. Now, so it depends on whatever is going on in your economy. It's not going to affect the rest of the world. And this is what other leaders wanted to do. But they give you language. Oh, we're a democracy. Oh, they don't have rights. Oh, they don't have this. And you wear it on your head because you can't fucking think. They've channeled all kind of conversation that's in tune to your emotion. You can't critically think for yourself. Now, the entire world is in one basket now. That basket is run by the biggest scammers this world has ever produced. Backed by every legislation, every law that enable all those peddles for them to make our lives a miserable hell. It's backed again by every nonsensical thing that I could ever think about a society could be. Yes. You're talking about the most dysfunctional society that has PP in their hand. Now, $108 trillion in debt. And you're expecting other countries to come and do business with you. If they go and do business with you, then they are stupid themselves. So if they lose their money, shebang. But think about it though. America. Think about it for a second. What do you think is going to happen when all these countries start pulling the funds out of America? What do you think is going to happen? I want you to start thinking. This is why I said, we entire world, we don't need to pray and hope. Go and repair relationship you have with Japan. Japan is what is holding this by the thread. If Japan dump just 10% of the US bond, the entire world will go into recession. Like that. Literally.
But if European institutions are pulling away from US equities and US government debt, where is that capital going instead? Because Europe is building its own sovereign alternatives in defense, technology, and payments, and those alternatives need funding.
Oh, you thought you were going to be able to own a...
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. But that is what, if you don't know, that's why America is fighting China to the nail. Fighting Russia, fighting Brazil. If you combine all of them, they call them the BRICS. They're trying to create a system whereby one person does not dominate it. And America is fighting. Trump would say, when you do that, it's dance. It's fighting whatever he can to try and make sure that everything goes through America. Boo-boo is over. It's over. Pull down the guy. Why do you think he went to go and kiss Xi Jinping ring a couple of weeks ago? He finally went to go and kiss the ring. That is what he went there for. Because the country is in debt. You cannot run a company in debt and still publicly tell people that you're making profit. How? Like it's like
Emotional, damn it.
I'm telling you, this is why these educators sometimes they like to find some fucking stupid justification to make them sound like they're very smart. It's dumb. You are in debt. But you say you are making profit. How? But hey, it is what it is. You cannot be in debt and say that you're making profit. So Japan is what is keeping the world together. I'm telling you, if Japan dumps 5% of the US bond, the entire world will go into recession. If you think I'm lying, go and research it. It will scare the shit out of you.
House? In Delaware, they just declared that if a corporation owns land, it can vote in local elections. Yeah. Yeah, small little beach town just north of Ocean City, Maryland, right across the Delaware border there. They decided, they're like, hey, most people don't actually live here, and we got local elections. Why don't we let the landlords that don't live here vote through their corporations and LLCs? And then I got stuck in court for years and years and years. And then a judge sat down one day, pulled out the Delaware State Constitution, brushed it off, and then went, doesn't say here that a dog can't play basketball. Oh, sorry, read that wrong. Doesn't say here that a corporation can't vote. And so now we are so close to a data center being built on Fenwick Island, Delaware, and then that data center declaring itself an entity, and then robots having more rights than immigrants and women.
I'm telling you, high robots is a bitch, but it's gonna be the reality in the next couple of years. See, I am not the smartest cat in the room, but my little deciphering on how I see how things works is that when you build data centers around the world, you have a reason. Because when you extract all this data, it's called data center. And you're not manufacturing any product out of those centers. You're just storing information there. Okay, if you store a lot of information there, what are you going to use those information to do? What items do people need in their daily lives that the data center will be able to supply them? Then you're going to start thinking again. What are the items that is going to come out of these data centers? Is it going to print food for you? Is it going to print love for you? Is it going to print a fresh hat for you? Is it going to print you a 3D version of your knee or your intestine? I don't think we're really close to that technology yet. You understand? So for those who conspiracy theories, I get you. But what is this data centers that they're building around? What exactly? Is it going to put food on your table? Is it going to stop you getting mugged? Is the data center, once you press your computer, is it automatically going to refill your petrol in your car? What are these data centers for? But as long as I can see, they are not producing nothing that is quite important for people to want to invest a lot of trillions of dollars, like they've been investing trillions of dollars into it. Soon they will be able to pass law. I said this 2 years ago. What this guy said, I said exactly the same. I said, a day is coming. AI will have more rights than you. You heard me right.
Emotional, damn it.
A day is coming. AI data will have more rights than a human being. And you know why that is going to happen? Simple word. It is legal. That is the justification. It's legal. Law is the most immoral shit that we uphold. Because law requires implementation. That implementation is me and you. If my intention is that I'm constantly looking at you for me to take advantage of you, looking for leverage, I'll get the best lawyer that can find the most best clause in the law that would justify it. This is why very soon AI will have more right, because the thing is that when you buy something on a land legally, legal papers, this is my land, I own it. Now I can challenge you at any time. Yeah. That's why for me in the foreseeable future, the idea of buying a house, definitely not here in Australia. Hell no. I don't know, maybe today or maybe later tonight, I'll show you guys this new thing that I'm doing. I discussed with AI. I'll ask AI to tell you. It's going to take you, let me tell you again. He's talking about Delaware. Come to Australia. The land you build a house here in Australia, it doesn't belong to you. How about that? You lease the land for 99 years in most states. The land does not belong to you in Australia to buy a house. The cardboard, the lights, yeah, they can sell it for you. We'll give you 60% of what it's worth. There's nothing you can do about it if they want to take over your land. The land does not belong to you. Because very soon, all this land will be owned by data centers because they have the money. And what is the justification? It is legal. Okay? It's legal. What can you do when something is legal? Do you want to fight the law? That is why when I was back in those villages, like people used to say, oh, the shit, oh. There was something that they used to tell us then. They said that law is designed to be broken. Laws are made to be broken. I never really get it until the older I got. Say, shit, this is what you're talking about. Because the law, the foundation of modern law in the last 600 years, is not from a place of fairness. It's from a place of leverage. Let me say it again. Go and research it. The modern law, the modern banking, they're like two brothers of the same mothers. The modern law, modern banking, they are designed from the foundation, how we're using it today. It started, I've said it 3 million times, is because of leverage, not because of fairness. If that's the case, if I have more leverage than you in terms of resources and wealth, I would dominate you at every opportunity that I get. So you can whinge all you want about morality, about decency. Oh, they should do the right thing. Oh, this corporation. It is legal.
Emotional damage.
It's legal. So you can whinge, you can whine all you want. The data centers, the AI will have more rights than human beings in the next 5 years. You bet it. You watch. You are it is way too obvious now. In the next 5 years, I bet you the AI data centers, they will have more rights than a living creature. Why? Because it's legal. It's lawful. You know, one thing that a law would never translate for you is called decency. Law, everything about law is immoral. Because law has too many clauses. Law has too many loopholes. And that is why the people they call lawyers, they will go far into the years. They will find all the loopholes. If I spin this one this way, if I spin it that way, this one is going to give me this, is going to give me that. Before you know, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, let's build data centers everywhere. Take over their land. We take them to court. Can they fight you in court? Wait, let me give you another one. The judge that they're going to take, they are the ones that own the company that employ the judge. Who do you think the judge is going to take? Who? It's legal. I'll educate some of my new viewers today if you're just watching me for the first time. I'm what you call a decipher. You see, this is the most dangerous weapon that the world has ever created. This right here. If you can see this is the most dangerous weapon that we've ever created. Why? Because all you got to do, baby, you just got to sign it. Once you sign it, you are cooked.
Emotional damage.
I'm telling you, man, the grifting is next level. Once you sign it, the same way you're gonna sign those papers with SpaceX and buying shares. Okay, I'm not saying you shouldn't buy it though. Go and buy it. Yeah. But it's the same thing. Very soon, AI data centers will have more rights than a living creature, because all the noise, all the pollution that comes from all these data centers, you will fall sick. Like you said, you want to go and sue them. You cannot sue them because it's legal. All right? This is why I've told people many times. The world works like this. There is have and have not. What spectrum do you fall into? Do you have? If you have, then you're good. If you don't have, shut the fuck up and take your lump. That is how they've designed it. And the law is a fucking justification. Do you know, if you live in a society that really thinks much more about society, law should be updated like an iPhone. Law, there should be a system that should update law like an iPhone. Updates the law. Close all the loopholes. But no. The loopholes are there specifically to do this because there has to be a distance between the people who have, who doesn't have. Because the world doesn't work in fairness. The world function in leverage. And what is the biggest leverage? Or what will give you the biggest leverage when you take advantage of people? The law. The same law that is supposed to protect you is the same law that exposes you to the biggest villain, if one could ever exist. I hope you had been educated. Let's move on.
Like we are so close. We are this close.
The president sued himself. He sued the IRS, but essentially he was suing himself. And then he settled with himself for $1.7 billion to be deposited into a slush fund that the president can use at his discretion to reward his political supporters. We found out just hours ago that in that settlement is included a provision that stops the IRS from auditing the president or his family. So instead of ending the Iran war, instead of trying to do something about these spiraling prices and costs that are being borne by families and the federal government, the president has spent the last few weeks reaching his hand into the Treasury, stealing from the American people $1.7 billion to be put into a slush fund that he controls to reward his political supporters, and securing an agreement with the IRS that no matter how much fraud or illegality he and his family and his business entities engaged in, they are getting off scot-free.
I'm sorry. I gotta laugh a little bit. What do you expect, though? What do you expect? I remember during the election with Kamala Harris, I was looking online. There were a lot of people. Yeah, we want Trump. I said, absolutely. Yeah. You want Trump? Absolutely, no problem. Because the thing is that you don't tell people that they shouldn't. No, you gotta fuck around and find out. That's why I was happy again when Trump was giving tariffs like Oprah was giving them cars then. Oh, you take the 10%. Oh, you take 20%. Oh, you take 40%. I said, you pass it on. Give us tariffs. Yeah, give us tariffs. Absolutely, no problem. Give tariffs. Give everybody. Now you see the consequence of those tariffs. Then it's crazy. What do you expect? That allegedly, okay, I'm not talking on behalf of American president. I don't want to start using dog to start sniffing me. Shishi pangolo, I don't get. But I'll talk the truth. The truth is a very expensive currency now. You expect? What do you think that the president will pay himself? You think it's possible? Wait. Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's possible that a president of a particular country that shall not be named, a very, very popular country, the president will sue himself? Ha! This is it. We just unlock a new grifting right now, man. Position of power, man. This shit is good like a motherfucker. Imagine I can sue myself. Wait. This is genius, though. Shit.
Emotional, damn it.
This is brilliant. You see, this guy, his brain is always working 24/7. That's why he never sleeps. Imagine I can sue myself. Then after I sue myself, then I'll take myself to court. Then I will lose to myself. Then I will compensate myself. Then I will say, I'll put in a clause in the same law. Okay? In the same law, they will put a lot of clauses in the law that you are not you should never attack any of my sons, my daughters, my business, my company. You shouldn't attack any one of them. Because if you do, the agreement that I need to give by suing myself. This is
Emotional, damn it.
Oh, this is brilliant. Oh, what? I think Trump just unlocked a whole new cheat code now. This cheat code is the best. I'm in a position of power, I will sue myself. She. Nah. I gotta watch this again. I want him to explain it a little bit different. You understand? I'm sorry. Oh, I gotta watch this again. Ladies and gentlemen, please, I want you to hear what this man is gonna say that happens. This shit is brilliant. Now we've unlocked a new way for you now to defraud your own company. Imagine you want to you want to do money laundering. It's one of the best way that you can do money laundering now. Listen.
He sued the IRS, but essentially he was suing himself. And then he settled with himself for $1.7 billion to be deposited into a slush fund that the president can use at his discretion to reward his political supporters. We found out just hours ago that in that settlement is included a provision that stops the IRS from auditing.
I'm telling you, who is ever the financial advisor for President Trump? I gotta get his number, man. This guy is brilliant. This is the most brilliant shit ever. Position of power. I need me $1 billion. Need me $1 billion. How do we get the $1 billion? Because if I go into the tax, they're not going to give it to me. If I tell them that I need funds from the senator, they're not going to give. How about we do it this way? I'm a chief executive of everything, right? Once I throw my finger, I make things happen. How about I sue myself? Take myself to the court. Then I tell them to, no. I sue myself. Whatever judge you see, hey, sue me. I sue me. Then put it in a clause there. Don't audit anything. Which close the loopholes for checks and balances. This is what we call mismanagement, and this is what we call misplaced priorities. And this is why the world is so fucking dysfunction. It's not just in America, it's in Africa, it's in Asia, it's in Middle East. It's the same concept around the world. It's the same concept around the world. I think people need to fucking wake up, man. You see, the fucking law is a fucking liability. Law does not function with any kind of morality. Zero morality. That is why people will find whatever loophole they can. So at all time, everyone, especially those people in the position of power, they're looking for loopholes. They're looking for justification at every time. It's never been about doing the right thing. Now, whoever exposed whatever it is, I'm sure is either he's going to lose his seat. There's going to be a fresh scandal about him. There's going to be some news about him. It's another person that will now use some stupid shit to try and want to expose him and destroy him from exposing the truth. This is why if you're one of those individuals that you like to expose truth, people will come for you. Because your truth irritates the demon, the lie, the demon in them. It irritates them so much that they have to attack you. Imagine you, a leader of a country. Fucking hell, man. Let me just be quiet.
The president or his family. So instead of ending the Iran war, instead of trying to do something about these spiraling prices and costs that are being borne by families and the federal government, the president has spent the last few weeks reaching his hand into the Treasury, stealing from the American people $1.7 billion to be put into a slush fund that he controls to reward his political supporters, and securing an agreement with the IRS that no matter how much fraud or illegality he and his family and his business entities engaged in, they are getting off scot-free.
Look at that for a second. Imagine a poor man does that, or just an average man does that. Oh my goodness, man. They will put his shit in the street so much, they will trace back his second, third, 5 grandfathers. They will check his line. And you know what they're going to use? They're not going to use AI, at least not yet. They're not going to use AI. They'll use somebody that looks just like you to probe into his personal life. dig down deep, find every scandalous shit they could find. Then they're not, oh, this man, the most worst thing he's ever done. But because he's a leader of a particular world or a particular place, he cannot be held accountable. That is why the whole Epstein file and whatever it is, I say they would never hold them accountable. They live in a different world. And the biggest tool that they have, ladies and gentlemen, is not their money. The biggest tool that these people have is not their money. The biggest tool they have at their disposal at all time, it's the law. The law is their tool. The law gives them every justification on the planet of this earth to do the most immoral shit, and they will get away with it. That is why I said our system, our world today function pure immorality, because everything is from a place of leverage. The more leverage I have, the more I can manipulate your life, the more I can have influence over your life, the more I can take advantage of you, and there is nothing you can do about it. Because if you're trying to sue me, I say, hey, listen, it's in the law. But listen to this one. I think I wanted to play this the other day, but my internet was messing up. But let this guy explain to you what I'm talking about.
London property is a money laundering hub. You know it, I know it, even the government knows it. Parliament has passed 2 economic crime acts since 2022 to try and fix it. So why is 6 billion in questionable money still involved in London real estate? It's simply because the people who should fix it don't particularly want to. Hi, my name's Henry. I'm a former wealth manager and economist, now based here in Switzerland. In 2022, the UK passed the Register of Overseas Entities. The idea was very simple, that if an offshore company buys any property in the UK, they'd have to declare who its beneficial owner was, who actually owns the company at the end. This was sold as an answer to the money laundering that was suspected to be occurring within London in one fell swoop. But researchers from the LSE, Warwick and the Centre for Public Data checked. Of 152,000 properties registered as owned by overseas companies, 109,000, or over 70% of them, still had not declared their UBO or beneficial owners. 14,500 of the companies in question just ignored it entirely, and another 3,000 did publish their UBO, but they revealed that the UBO was another company that it...
Why does that sound very familiar? It said 3,000 companies publish it. How many billionaires do we have in the world today? It's about 3,200 something. But there's another 14,000 we didn't disclose. But publicly, we've been told that there's only 3,000 billionaires in this world.
Emotional, damn it!
Do you think, please put in the comment section of this video, how many billionaires do you think the world really has? Do you think it's 3,000 plus? Or do you think it's more? Or do you think it's less?
Itself was also anonymous in who owned it. A further 12% of the rest claim that they have no beneficial owner at all. A company can basically claim on a government register designed to identify owners that it has no owners at all. And it would seem like the government simply accepts that.
Why is that? Why would the government allow you? They want you to disclose your name. At the same time, they understand that because of the law that they passed, it's you can't make this shit up.
Setting up these offshore companies is not a particularly difficult challenge. Most of you could probably find out how to do it online. I've actually been through this process before, not for anything spooky, but simply because Caymans also has good access to US capital for startups. You can find out how to do it online. It costs about $5 grand USD. It also takes about 2 weeks, so it's relatively fast. And when you think about that in the context of buying a Mayfair apartment for, say, £15 million, this is a rounding error. Now, for these companies, they often install what's called a resident director. All companies require a director, a person who oversees the activity of the business. But for these offshore companies, what you can simply do is hire a guy in place to simply sign the documents for you. The Financial Times looked into this practice in the Cayman Islands previously, and they found that one director actually had over 247 appointments. They found another 14 people who had over 70 appointments each. These guys are known as jumbo directors. So for relatively little money, you do actually get a real human being who can represent the company for you, and he signs the documents and the accounts on your behalf. But that also means when you look into the owners of these properties, you just find one guy in the Cayman Islands who's doing the same thing for 250 other companies, and it tells you absolutely nothing about the ownership. So
What? A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
So ask yourself, do you think we could ever in a lifetime be able to get any kind of justice for anything in this world? I just want you to sit on it for a second. Think about it. If you write so-called the law, if you put it on the law that you should declare who owns the company, then when you went to the place where the company is registered, you find out there's a director there. But when you pull up the book, you find out that it's not showing any name here. Who is the owner of the company? At the same time, you accept that they should take it that way. Yeah, isn't very very intelligent. And the people who tell me that's such a very smart thing to do. It's very, very intelligent.
in reality, while this policy looks quite brave on paper to tackle money laundering in the UK and to trace real ownership of property, it doesn't actually do anything and gives no results.
At all.
And there's a worse case in it as well when you look into the trust ownership structures.
Oh,
the
shit.
Register of Overseas Entities completely exempts trusts. And so if your offshore company is owned by a trust, you don't actually have to declare who is paid out by the trust.
No.
Over 4,000 offshore companies holding UK property do exactly this. This wasn't an oversight. Cross-party recommendations were put forward, tabled, debated, and then rejected to close this exact loophole. In February this year, in a Hansard debate, it was noted that £5.9 billion of questionable money in structures just like these had been placed in UK residential property. So obviously a lot of people complained about this, thinking that this isn't particularly transparent and seems very silly. And so in August 2025, they tried to introduce a patch to this, where you can request information about the beneficiaries and trustees of any trust. But the very stupid part about that is that you need to know the name of the trust that you're asking about. Those names are not published anywhere. So, in essence, unless you already know the answer, you can't even ask the question. Now, these anonymous foreign buyers choose London for 3 reasons. Number 1 is stability. We do have very good courts in the UK, and the pound is relatively stable compared to other foreign currencies. Number 2 is these structures that we were just discussing. It allows you to own substantial assets entirely anonymously. And since 2014, when Obama cracked Switzerland's private banking secrecy laws, no other wealth management hub has been able to compete with that. Number 3 is that property gives you visa pathways. Now, while the Tier 1 investor visa is now gone, owning substantial real estate or investments in the UK does help with the Home Office. So here we can see exactly what's wrong, how they're doing it, and why they're doing it. So if that's the case, why isn't anyone fixing it? Well, here's the problem. Fixing things becomes very, very expensive. Let's think firstly of the demand shock. A lot of these buyers from overseas are buying because of the opacity that it allows them. Roughly a third of London prime property transactions are from a foreign buyer.
Let's start thinking for a second. In the UK, third of the property that get bought in the UK are from overseas. Keep it at the back of your mind. Don't forget that.
To that point, Russian-linked purchases since 2022 account for about 9% of London prime sales. That's about £1.8 billion. If you close this loophole and make the ownership public, these people are not going to continue buying in London. Prime central London real estate is already about 20% down in real terms from its 2014 peak. But removing these structures removes substantial amounts of demand for central London prime real estate. And we could be looking at a 30 to 40% price correction in these markets. Then there is the ironic institutional cost. All of these regions that are providing opaque structures that allow oligarchs and kleptocrats to hide their money to be delivered into London real estate are also actually crown dependencies mostly, such as the Cayman Islands, the BVI, Jersey, Guernsey, the Isle of Man. Their entire economies are mostly structured around providing this service to internationals as international investor hubs, tax structuring hubs, and similar. So ironically, in trying to fix this issue, you end up with quite a few bankrupt islands that we are actually responsible for. Obviously, the effect on the City of London would incur job losses that has a real significant tax base. The last one is more quiet and more diplomatic. A serious ownership register that revealed the true beneficial owners of all of these properties and offshore companies would reveal a lot of names that our allies would prefer that we do not reveal.
And that is the reason why.
Emotional damage.
And that is the reason why money laundering will always exist. You hear that? So because when they say money laundering, most people think about drug dealers. You stupid and a mother sucker if that's what you think. If you think money laundering means criminals, yeah. But we always think money laundering is only when you commit a crime, then you want to hide your money. Yeah. But you don't think billionaires are criminals. Because like I'm saying right now, billionaires are criminals. Actually, they committed a crime. They are literally criminals. They are committed a crime. But there is a loophole in the law system that allows them to do it. So, legally, they are not committing a crime. But technically, they committed a crime. Then ask yourself, if there is a loophole for me to make a lot of billions of dollars, billions, like Trump said. If I can make billions of dollars and there's a loophole for me to stay anonymous, you don't have to know who I am. But at the same time, I'll be buying things. I'll be buying houses at astronomical level. Buy everywhere in the house. I have 50, 60, 700 houses around the world. I can fly from one place to the other and I have access to visa, to whatever it is. I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. At the same time, I'm not paying the necessary tax that I need to pay by the system. At the same time, there's a department in the law, in the government that wants to know who I am. But at the same time, you are the same person that writes it in your clauses there that I can stay anonymous via the trust fund. So you got to take it down a layer. And this is where the deciphering comes into it. Take it down a layer. There's a question that I think we yet to ask ourselves. How was trust injected into law? All this trust fund, how did they inject it into the law? I'm gonna even do research about it. I'm gonna find out about it. How does this trust fund got injected into the law that creates this loophole that people can pass on generational wealth from one generation to the other because it's under the trust fund? While you and I, we will walk like camels till we die. We won't be able to put anything in a trust. And when we put in a trust, there's a different level of trust. Because they understand all the loopholes in this world. This is why money laundering exists. This is why it's not only people that sell drugs or they sell weed that are criminals. Billionaires are technically they're criminals. But legally, they are not. Let that make sense for you. It's like a snake eating his own tail.
Namely, a lot of Gulf money, ex-Soviet money, and Southeast Asian political money. It would be slightly difficult and slightly awkward to diplomatically maintain relations with countries where we just published where all of their politicians are hiding their money. The last part is simple. Any government who really actually tackled this would essentially walk into the next election while saying that they'd cleaned up London property with a self-inflicted London property crash. A handful of bankrupt islands that we are ultimately financially responsible for would probably also be responsible for a large number of international diplomatic scandals and domestic political scandals when they reveal who owns these properties. And so for now it seems there is an uneasy alliance, or at least alignment of values, between our own government and foreign international investors and kleptocrats and money launderers, who all assist to blow up what we've been covering here, the housing theory of everything, this rentier asset at the core of our economy. That's the difficulty of this black hole effect of a rentier asset, which I'll break into tomorrow, is that it sucks in all assets from all places, not just the clean ones, but also the dirty money.
And that's the thing. It's really forgets, like I say again. I don't have whatever system you can create, whatever system. Okay, but at the same time, you created a system to protect me. But at the same time, you created a loophole to fuck me. Pause. You created a system to protect me. At the same time, in that system that you create to protect me, there is a loophole to take advantage of me. Make that make sense.
This German economist, Joachim Clement, has correctly predicted the last 3 World Cup winners. And his prediction here for this World Cup, bit shocked, and I love it. Of all the possibilities, this is the one I want happening the most. He has the Netherlands winning the 2026 World Cup. Please, God, please, can you make it 4 correct predictions in a row? The Netherlands beating Portugal would be prime time cinema. Netherlands falling short in 3 World Cup finals. You would love to see it happen. Great people, the Dutch, awesome fan base, a beautiful history, incredible football, great kits, any and everything, every reason to see and hope that they win, especially against Portugal. Cristiano Ronaldo losing in a final, prime time viewing. You guys let me know, who do you think is going to win this World Cup?
All right, for a lot of my audience that you guys don't know, I am actually a professional soccer player most of my life. I haven't been playing for the last few years due to injury and other circumstances. I'm going to lean more into the World Cup when the World Cup begins. I'm actually going to create a whole new YouTube channel about it. Very similar studio, but different sort of studio. I'll talk more a little bit about the World Cup. If you're really interested about sport, shout out. I'm a big fan of the NBA, a big fan of the NFL. I do know a little bit about tennis. I do know a little bit about golf, MMA, boxing. Did boxing when I was younger. We'll lean into it, but I just want to throw this conversation there. Apparently, Netherlands is going to win the World Cup. I don't know. I look at the team. They're not really that good. Yeah, but there's another one that I want to discuss that's more important. I'll play this one after this one.
Are about to play the World Cup final on grass laid on top of concrete. Let that sink in. So here's what's actually happening. Most of these World Cup stadiums in America were actually built for the NFL. Like, there's no sunlight, there's no soil, it's just a concrete floor underneath. And FIFA said, yeah, we'll just put some grass on top of that. Look, a traditional football pitch is about 16 inches deep. These ones, less than half of that, sitting on concrete. There's already videos going viral of teams testing the pitches, throwing the ball down and watching it barely bounce back up. The surface is so hard and shallow, it plays nothing like a real grass pitch. And we're not talking about a training ground somewhere. This is the World Cup, the biggest tournament on the planet with the best players in the world, cutting, turning, accelerating on grass that is essentially sitting on tarmac. We've got stars missing left, right and center, and now we're going to ask the ones who made it to play on this. So FIFA spent years telling us they care about player welfare, but the World Cup final is at MetLife Stadium, a ground so notorious for injuries that NFL players have been complaining about it for years. I genuinely hope I'm wrong. I hope these pitches hold up, but if a player goes down with a serious injury in this tournament and it comes back to the surface, FIFA have no excuse, none.
Well, thank you. If you stay this long to this live stream, I really appreciate it. I'll be back again later tonight because I'm going to have a chat with my AI. It's an advanced AI that I have. We're going to discuss about a lot of things. And I'll get to you guys to see exactly a lot of the questions that a lot of people are too scared to ask. I ask AI those questions and you're going to hear feedback. I don't hide it. But the thing is that the reason why I played the video about the World Cup thing is that I think we need to embrace ourselves. This is going to be by far the worst World Cup we've ever seen in our lifetime. And I'll tell you why. This World Cup that is going to start in the 3 countries is going to be the worst World Cup ever. You will see. You will see why I said so. You will see in a minute. Very soon, you'll see. But let's get back to the real thing. SpaceX is looking for $1.8 trillion. And everything they said the company is going to do is that they want to build a glorified bus to take you to the space. Yeah, you can't afford to pay your bills. You can't afford to take your kids to school. You don't have good insurance for your health. But they can build a bus to take you to the moon. Yeah, they can build data centers that is gonna, not only that it's gonna destroy your eardrums, it's gonna suck all the water. It's gonna make your electricity go high. Now they're going to public that people can start buying. It's like you start using your own hand to destroy yourself and you wouldn't even know it. Then there's too much loopholes. I've said it many times on this live stream and every other platforms that I have. If you want to know why your life is difficult, It's the same thing that was designed to protect you. The law. The law is full of shit. The law is just a glorified DD oil for all these people, for them to take advantage of people. The law. Too much loopholes. Too much corners. That is why the world is how dysfunctional as it is today. Then, allegedly, President Trump, he did. Shit is smart. I swear to God. I'm just listening to it now. I'm just thinking, this has to be the greatest grifting I've ever seen in my life. This shit is so genius. Oh boy. This is the best scam ever. And you can't tell me nothing. Imagine I can sue myself. Take myself to court. Then put a clause in that while I'm suing myself as a government. So for me to agree in this term, you are not allowed to come after me. I mean, I'm suing myself. It has to be the greatest grifting of all time. And it's legal. It's legal, ladies and gentlemen. It's legal. Unfortunately, it's legal. So what do? What can you do? There's nothing you can do. Because this is how the system was created. And I'll keep saying it again. The system was created to take advantage of an average man. An average man is not included in any kind of law. It's never been. The law is to allow these pedos, these crazy sociopaths, these stupid people that will call them our leaders. It allowed them for them to lubricate and more. That is what the law is. The law is a penetrator for the poor man. The law doesn't give a twat. If you like, believe in Jesus. Even though your father is a second cousin to Jesus, it doesn't matter. You don't live in the same stratosphere as they live. Your father could be closest thing to Muhammad. It doesn't matter. The law is designed to keep the elite people stay where they are, have more money, pass on generational wealth. No excuses. There's too many loopholes that can never be closed. Because if you try to close that loopholes, it's like you putting your own head into your own eyes. You're blinding yourself. That's what's going to happen. That is why it functions the way it functions. I'll be back again later this evening. I'm going to discuss with AI a lot of questions that you don't want to ask AI. I'm going to ask AI and you're going to hear feedback. Then you will know. Maybe is AI here to take over because they're building all these data centers. We're going to talk to AI. But thank you for those who subscribed. Thank you for those who watch. Mucho gracias, muchos. I'm only here not just entertaining. I'm here to finger your brain. Pause. No Didi. I'm here to finger your brain. Yeah, some people, their brain needs fingering. I need to finger your brain. I finger your brain. You start opening your mind. All right. So when you want to put your frustration, you know where to channel your frustration. Don't put it on people who didn't offend you, who didn't do shit to you because you're frustrated. And one other thing again that I like to promote on my live stream that I'm going to keep talking about is empathy. 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 Without empathy, we are more or less like animals, basically. That's what we are. Because there's big justification. I gotta make mine. And that's the justification for all these rich bastards. How much money do you need to live comfortable for the rest of your life? How much money? Then when you acquire that money, why don't you feel satisfied? What more do you want? How much chicken, how much lobsters do you need to eat a day for the rest of your life? These guys are never satisfied because it's never been about money. They're looking for something that money cannot buy. You know what it is? It's their soul. They don't have a soul. Many of them, they're soulless. And they're looking for it. That's why most rich people, they're too scared of people because they don't know how authentic those individuals are. Because they themselves, they don't know what authenticity is. It doesn't come natural to them. Like I always say, thinking is not illegal. But before I go, please subscribe, comment, put it there. If you disagree with me, put it there. I'll read it. I'll respond to you. Like I always say, thinking is not illegal. But you can pay me so I can think for you.